guys, welcome back to my channel. I don't know if I fully explained what I wanted to explain last night about the fruitarian diet, but it was running a little long, so I thought I would break it off and maybe just briefly mention one thing that I wanted to impress upon you, and that was that the studies that are being done on the fruitarian diet, it's relatively a modern phenomenon. And as I said, many of the all, not many, all of the hunter-gatherers from pre-civilization are gone, are long gone, so we don't have them to study. We do know that the lifespan was shorter in those days, where people relied mostly on plants and fruits and nuts to sustain their health. And but what I wanted to let you know that there is a famous, well, he was famous YouTuber who was I should say, hell bent on trying to prove that the fruitarian, or actually, he was raw vegan. He wasn't exactly fruitarian, but I think a lot of what the fruit can do to a human body was done to him. And I feel, so sad that it happened because what I'm about to explain to you, because he was predisposed to this condition genetically. And so I think he was trying to avoid that. And so one of his siblings had the very similar condition that he had. And after several years of following the raw vegan diet, um, he developed a colon, an issue with his colon. And so what happened was he had moved to South America, a beautiful remote area way up in the mountains. And what I wanted to say was, I'm skeptical that fruits and raw vegetables can always provide a body with all the nutrients and proteins that they need. Fruit doesn't have protein. It doesn't have those essential vitamins and minerals that your body needs to sustain a good health. And so what he did was, guys, he bought a beautiful home. He had his family there. He had two beautiful little girls. And what happened was he basically planted all these trees and, fruit trees and vegetable patches. And the air was so clean up there. It was very remote. And so what I'm saying is that he also discussed to lengths on the pesticides and pollutants in the air and in the plants and whatever have you. He was, I think that was a valid part of his argument. But what happened is that he developed this disease, and he is no longer in South America, but he's back here in the States. And the doctors had to really rush and work hard to save his life. And I feel so bad for somebody that passionate to have cut himself off. Basically, guys, he cut himself off from society to make himself healthier. And what happened? It didn't work. If there's anybody who deserved that kind of a solution to work, it would have been him. I still follow this YouTuber. I stopped following for a while because the uploads weren't coming anymore. And now I realize why. I began following him again and realized that he pretty much almost passed away. And I'm so glad that he's managed, with all of the medical assistance that he did receive, he managed to hopefully kick this situation. He'll always have to be careful. I don't know what his diet is now. I'm almost too afraid to ask, but he has been reprimanded and scolded by YouTubers. I don't think that that's the answer. I think what he did was wonderful in both cases. I think that many of us should go by trial and error, but not to almost lose one's health almost completely. I really commend him and praise him for what he did and what he tried to do with the other raw vegan community. From what I understand, a whole bunch of them went to South America in this very remote spot. And guys, it was beautiful. I don't know how safe it was, but it was beautiful and very remote. And there they lived. And so um, I really think that people like that are brave, but you don't need to do that. You don't need. Maybe it's nice to get away from typical North American society. Yes, for sure. But do you really need to go to those great lengths to prove a point about food and health? I don't know about that. I don't know. And so, guys, for this afternoon, I wanted to focus a little bit on um, getting some supplies back into my pantry. I've been running low on a few of them, but I've also been sitting here trying to figure out how many bulk items I would need to purchase for a 1 year supply, and we'll go over that a little bit later. But I've already worked on the coffee. And so that's one bulk item that it usually goes, if I want to say, for instance, buy coffee for a whole year, I have to buy one bag per month, which is 12 bags. And so that's what I'm talking about. Other bulk items include laundry soap, dishwasher soap, cat food. Um, you wouldn't believe how many of those I need in a year. Water, those big gallons of water I've been showing you, and cat litter. A lot of it is for the cat. And things like paper towel and toilet paper, things like that. That's not even counting food. If I couldn't go out for a year, say I was sick or there was another pandemic, I want to focus on how many items I would need for a year. Sorry about the lighting. The sun keeps speaking, playing peekaboo with me. So anyway, I'm going to just go out briefly because I want to get some items from my pantry and I need some staple items. So I'm going to go to the Dollarama and I usually don't tell you beforehand, but just, I wanted to show you and give you an idea of what my day is going to be like. And so I'll see you later on the road and at the dollar store. So hopefully everybody out there is having a great day, and I'll talk to you soon. Hi guys, I'm back home. I have a haul for you. And yes, I'm trying to stock up on some pantry and cupboard supplies that I normally do run out of in the middle of winter. And also, I told you before, I'm trying to figure out exactly how many of these items I'm going to show you that I would need in about a year. So hold on and let me flip the view and I'll show you what I got. So guys, a Dollarama haul is always exciting, isn't it? And I, have been trying to focus on items that I really rely on. Um, Almost on a daily basis, if you will, because normally, especially when I stick around the house a lot, I run out of things quite quickly, and so I'm trying to uh, economize by not using up so many of these replenishable items, but I can't help it, especially when it comes to items like fabric softener and hand soap. I do have the gel sanitizer, but I only use that in the car, and I just stocked up on that one last week. And so here are the other things that I normally keep stocked in my pantry in a big bin. And so here they are. These are so hard to find, guys, because they have the varied portion size right here. And I like them because they're just the right size. I like the smaller size right there. And I considered buying another, but I know that the bag I have is not big enough to hold all these things. And so then I bought a couple of these, and I would say I use how many are there? There are six of these. I would say 2 packs is just enough for 1 year. What I do is I cut them in half and use them for the dishes and the counter separately. And every month I throw them out. So I never wash these. These are, for me, they're disposables. But I love them because they're just the right thickness and they're just the right price. They're not too expensive. You know what I mean? And so I got myself two of these. I have another one in the pantry, so that's going to last me. And so these, I buy at least 3 or 4 of these per year. And so these sponge towels, I usually go for, again, 3 or 4 of these per year. I don't use them a lot. I don't use them a lot. It's very rare that I ever spill enough that I don't use this instead of that. But sometimes you never know, especially when I'm doing something with the with planting or the cats. the cat's litter or something, and I don't want to use this because I use it on my kitchen stuff. You know what I mean? So I'll use these. And so I do have cleansers. I'll do that in another video. But for now, I'm just doing mostly the perishables that are, stuff that I use every day. And I'm figuring about 8 of these per month, about 4 here, or as many as it takes for that a specific period. And I'm figuring for an entire year, I would use close up to about 100 of these. And so, it's tedious to go to the store every week. I know it's nice to do it in the summer, but it's tedious to keep going back to the store every week. So I just may go crazy one day and buy 100. Of course, I'll have to go to several different outlets. That's going to look stupid, isn't it? And then I bought some garbage bags. I mean, with that plastic bag ban in my province now, what am I going to use for garbage? You know what I'm saying? And so these are some other items that I haven't stocked up. Well, I rarely use these. And I would say that the last time that these were purchased, it was a purchase my mother made. And she passed away 4 years ago. So that gives you an indication of how often I use these plastic bags. But of course, foil, I have different uses for both of these sizes. I go through it quite a bit. And so there you have it. That's my haul. Guys, I love the smell of this. I considered switching, but this really, it's home to me. It has so many nice memories in that beautiful scent. So it really does the job too. So that's my haul. The entire sum came to be $33.05. So there you have it. So what I haven't done yet is I forgot to do one thing yesterday, besides explaining about the other YouTuber and his difficulties with a vegan diet, a raw vegan diet. I forgot to include the recipe for my puff pastry. It didn't exactly puff, did it? But I did not use yeast. What I want to do today is I want to make a meat pie, a meatless pie, shepherd pie with potatoes and vegetables, and I want to put yeast in that pastry. So I need to include the recipe. I have to go back and edit that video and the details. And so that's one thing that's on the agenda for today. And then, guys, I'm not sure if I want to research. I think I'm going to try and research fruit a little more and see what other health benefits they possibly could offer. And it's amazing that so many people have said food is so healthy, and yet all I've come across is a little protein, not much, and not proven to me, in my opinion, and some potassium. That's about it. I'm not sure, I have gone over the beans like lentils and red beans and black beans. They all carry protein. So that's good. That's good. But I'm not done with fruit. I'm not sure. If I'm done with fruit, I will go on to move on to another type of meal plan, which is pescatarian. I've always wanted to look into that, even though doctors and environmentalists are warning about mercury and lead poisoning. I'm sure that we can put enough faith and trust in our public health system that they have the appropriate testing that is done on seafood before it hits the shelves in the stores. So I have some faith in that. But still, you want to be careful and not consume certain types of fish that have very high levels of mercury. So while I put these things away, I'm going to decide what to do next, and then I'll be getting back to you a little bit later on today. So have a good afternoon, and I'll catch up with you a little later. Can you imagine buying 48 of these all at once? Where would I buy them? Hi, everybody, I'm back. And just in case you're tuning into this channel for the first time at this point, I wanted to explain a little bit about what my channel is going through at the moment. I began the new year off with several New Year resolutions, and I'm still working through a few of them. And if you want to catch up on those, I have videos that are linked, um, and you can just scroll down and look at them if you need to. I began in the beginning of the month, so it shouldn't be too hard to find them. And right now, because I am following the starch solution, I found that I didn't understand a lot of the ways that in which the foods are grouped in this book by the McDougals. And what I mean by that is why certain foods were being omitted and others were being emphasized. So I decided to do a little research and go through all the different types of diets and meal plans and see what I could come up with. There's so much that I've been learning too. And so yesterday I did talk about the fruitarian diet. Before that, I talked about the Atkins diet. I talked about food handling and bacteria. I've talked an awful lot about many things. But right now, I'm focused on looking at fruits and what some foods contain and others don't. And I'm trying to understand the claim that a fruitarian diet it could be one of the healthiest. My problem with that is that many foods do not contain any protein at all. Avocados and bananas are the only two common fruits that do contain protein. However, many do contain fiber, and some even contain some very healthy antioxidants, which I'll go over. And so that's what I'm trying to accomplish with this video. And later on, I'll probably be doing another recipe for you, meatless shepherd's pie. And So right now I'm focused on seeing where I'm also focused on seeing where I can derive some other sources of protein, because the starch solution is claiming that animal protein is not the healthiest way to go. And I kind of agree with that, only because I have undergone some issues with my stomach myself. And I realized that, one, I was eating too much animal protein. And two, when I stopped eating it, I stopped eating protein altogether. So it was doing a number on my stomach. Not badly, but all that running to the bathroom, that's what it does if you're not taking in enough proteins. And so now, finally, after all this research, I realized what was going on with my stomach, even up until last month, because I was not taking in other sources of protein when I cut out, you know, veal, chicken. I cut it all out because I could wanted to follow the starch solution. And so that's where we're at today. So yesterday I did go over some of the most eccentric and some of the more negative aspects of the fruitarian issue, and it's a very controversial issue at that. Um, I still haven't reached any plausible theory of my own on it. It's just, I think that there's just not enough information out there at the moment, although it's pretty evident that some protein is obviously required in order to sustain a good physical health. And so, generally, going back to foods, many foods do contain fiber, they contain some minerals and vitamins, but at very low rates. The percentage is quite low. It's not like eating meat or beans or whatever have you. And so, also on the negative side, they are packed, loaded with sugar. So there's that concern that I went over yesterday about diabetes and being unable to process all that sugar. And so oranges, kiwi, and grapefruit, however, are very excellent sources, among other fruits, of vitamin C. And so we have already gone over some of the healthier food choices yesterday to consume. And that would be due to their chemical reactions when mixed with other foods. And we've already gone through that. So some examples that I looked at were strawberries, blueberries, and apples. And what we discovered was that avocados are considered to be one of the healthiest foods because they are low in carbs, but very high in what we call a good fat that keeps cholesterol at a minimum. And so that's pretty amazing that one of these foods um, could really combat something that's not good in our body with its own fat. So that's unbelievable. And so, before I forget, I need to mention something else that I discovered regarding starch solution and my intake of protein. I've also been a little focused on portion sizes and serving sizes. And as for protein, in this diet, I made a mistake when, the food guidelines specify at least 1 cup of protein, which would include tofu, not potatoes, and kidney beans or chickpeas, something like that that has protein value in the food. At least 1 cup a day. And I would say not more than that for myself. And so, but when I was going through the starch solution, which is a completely different guideline on its own, it says not not 1 cup of protein, but for instance, 3 cups of beans, that would make um, actually one carbohydrate. And so what I'm saying is, in this book, it's confusing for me because I don't know how to take beans, for instance, kidney beans or chickpeas or lentils. They are considered to be a carbohydrate in this book. And so 3 cups of that would be equal to 4 potatoes. So I could have, say, for instance, just to quickly show you what I mean, 2 potatoes and 6 cups of beans. That's the way I'm translating what he says. That's a lot of food, right? So, anyway, let's go on with food. And so, as I was saying, avocados appear to be one of the healthiest types of food that you can choose to consume in your diet. And so, but only some fruits contain another very healthy um, ingredient, and antioxidants. And one of these so-called ingredients would be anthocyanins. Now, regarding, however, anthocyanins, there is no real evidence in human consumption that these antioxidant effects um, are actually present. We know that anthocyanins, which have a blue to reddish color in foods like, for instance, blueberries or red cauliflower, those kinds of foods have they contain anthocyanins, and I'll go over a list that I have of 12 fruits, and I'm only going to be reviewing 12 fruits for today, and we'll go over that in a little bit. So what are antioxidants? Okay, and why are they so healthy for you? Well, in a nutshell, antioxidants are little particles, little molecules that really fight the bad um, molecules, or so to speak, free radicals or free agents that are floating around in your body or in your stomach, your gut, after consumption of food. And so free radicals are compounds that can cause considerable harm if their levels become too high and nothing in your body is breaking them down. So this is where, all these gut processes and cancer start becoming very important to your health. And I think it could even occur at any age. It's always going to be important to make sure that you're getting enough of these antioxidants or anthocyanins into your body in order to produce that effect. So anthocyanins, therefore, are not medically proven to have uh, this antioxidant effect of breaking down dangerous levels of bad compounds. Okay, so that's as best as I can explain it. And so, what happens when you have too much of that stuff floating in your gut? It's going to be harder for your stomach. Say, for instance, even your liver, and that's why we do liver and colon cleanses, right? It's going to be hard for them to break down those foods, that roughage, those bulkier things that we just have to have in our systems, right? And so many fruits do contain fiber. So free radicals are something to be contended with. since so much of our diet is centered around roughage, bulky foods like plants. You know what I'm saying? Um, some good examples are bananas. Um, Other things that have a lot of fiber are probably cauliflower, broccoli. You know what I'm saying? Rough foods. And so I would imagine that even cabbage must be filled with fiber. So in order for your stomach to break down all that fiber properly and help your stomach digest, we need to have a certain amount of antioxidants in our systems that will combat that roughage being kept in that bulky form. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, you have to forgive me for explaining it like this, but it's the best I can do. And because so many people who are either fruitarians or raw vegans don't explain it as well as some others might, I end up being kind of confused about what the dangers are. And so here we go into the 12 foods that I broke down for you. And we can look at what they all contain and what some of them contain and, you know, see which ones are healthy for you. So hold on. So the first one on my list, it's lemons. Now, lemons are one of my favorite things to cook with, and I did a beautiful lemonade cleanse back in July, and I was very pleased with the results. It was maybe my fifth or sixth lemonade cleanse, but I hadn't done one in a long time. And with lemons, lemons are filled with flavonoids, antioxidants, which is exactly what we need to break down all that crap in our system. And phytochemicals, folic acids, and pectin. Besides vitamin C, pectin. Now, pectin is present in some other fruits as well, and it's very beneficial to gut health. And it breaks down all the harmful ingredients that you may have ingested or even breathed in, I don't know, eaten. And it's almost like a necessity. You should have it. And so that is the positive side of lemons. And everything that I'm going to be talking about from here on, it's all positive, guys. I think I've looked at enough of the negative. And now it's time to look at some of the positive attributes that fruits do contain. Oranges are very high in vitamin C, of course. And all of the fruits on this list from here on, except for lemons, contain the following: potassium, calcium, magnesium, and carbohydrates, and vitamin C. So that's basic for almost every fruit on this list. Fiber is not all of them, and protein is only two of them. So the next one on the list is limes. Now, they have antioxidant properties, and they also contain those ingredients that I just read to you, including vitamin C. And grapefruits, the same thing. They also they also have flavonoids, like lemons do. Apples, pectin. This one has pectin. So apples and lemons, guys. You want to do a cleanse in the morning, the hot water with lemon, throw in a few apple slices. That would be great. And so apples also contain an anti-cancerous ingredient called quercetin. Quercetin. And so that is unique to all the other fruits on this list. Apples, guys. Now, another thing about apples is that apple eaters are known through studies and research to be linked to the healthiest regarding results um, surrounding diabetes, heart, and cardiovascular diseases. So they don't have them, guys. Apple eaters don't have these diseases. That's a good thing to know. Next on the list, pomegranates, fiber, anthocyanins. They will attack the free radicals in your stomach. Potassium, calcium, all those basic ones. They also have other antioxidants and polyphenols. So that's basically sort of like an antioxidant. And I do encourage you to do your own homework and research because I kind of did a rush job here and I wanted to get the basic facts regarding these 12 fruits out to you. And so I did not research all of these chemical ingredients that are found in fruits, but polyphenol is a very healthy antioxidant like compound. There you go. Blueberries. Now, I should stop here and just say all berries carry anthocyanins. So, guess what blueberries will carry? Anthocyanins. They also carry fiber, just like apples and pomegranates. Fiber. And then all the other basic ones. Strawberries, same thing. Anthocyanins and fiber. Blackberries, same thing. Anthocyanins and fiber. So, guys, lemons, apples, berries. If you're a vitamin C food, just buy them all. You know what I mean? Um, Pineapple, fiber, besides all the other potassium, magnesium, vitamin C, and carbohydrates. So, I love pineapple. Bananas, okay? Bananas are protein. This is a protein food, not found in other foods. So, what's so unique about bananas? Well, they do contain a large amount of potassium, which is good. It's good for your body. They do contain protein and, of course, fiber. So, avocado, good fat. Excuse me, good fat, protein, and fiber, plus all the other basic ingredients. Bananas and avocados are also special in their own category because they contain protein. So if you ever run out of meat or kidney beans or chickpeas, go grab a banana or an avocado or maybe both. I don't know. So, and that's it, guys. That's what I have for you today. And that was a very interesting perspective that I took today because I've heard so much about the healthy aspects of foods. But, I'm reminding everybody that if you are going to become a fruitarian or if you are a fruitarian, you need to make sure you incorporate maybe some vitamin pills, and bananas and avocados are essential for your protein intake. I can't begin to tell you how many you would have to bring home from the market or pick, in order to give your body a fighting chance. So remember that, guys. And I hope that you've enjoyed this little conversation about fruits and their positive attributes. And so, lemons, apples, and berries. I'm really amazed. I didn't realize that about berries, especially. Or I didn't know about the antioxidant properties that they all carry. Now I know. So, everybody, I'm going to start preparing the ingredients for my meatless shepherd's pie. And just in case you're wondering, it's a half a cup of vegetables of any choice. And I'm going to also put in 4 potatoes. So, those are the filling ingredients with a little salt, pepper, onion, and garlic. Here we go. So, guys, that's all there is to it. My meatless shepherd pie is in the oven, and I think I'll probably let it stay in there for about 30 to 40 minutes, something like that. We'll see how it goes. And so, before I was talking to you about buying in bulk for a year, and dishwashing, dishwashing machine soap. I usually buy a couple of times a year, 3 times a year. So this is approximately one package in there. And so I usually wash the dishes once a week or a little more, depending on how many things that I use. And so the other kind of detergent, hold on, is 150 at the local dollar store, and I usually buy about three or four, at least four of these per year. I don't use this a lot for dishes, but when I'm wiping down the counter or when I'm scrubbing something very dirty, like a pot or something, I usually use this before I put it in a dishwasher. So about four of these per year. And so I think that if I had to calculate how much I would spend if I needed to, um, you know, not go out for a year, um, that would be that would be the reason why I would be doing this, right? I don't know why I'm anticipating another pandemic. I guess because I'm waiting for something else to happen. Um, anyway, it is possible to shop in bulk for a year. However, I don't think I could get all my supplies in, like for instance, potatoes. They would just simply not fit or go rotten. And so, yeah, potatoes would be a problem. Most of my other vegetables are in the freezer, and I know that I can get quite a bit in there. And I have had vegetables in there for about a year now. And so I'm using them a little at a time. That works out fine. But everything else is a bit of work, a bit of, I don't know how people do it. How do people buy in bulk? It's so complex. And I think I feel much more confident now about remaining on the starch solution for at least the entire winter and spring. I I just don't understand why there are so many bits of gaps in information about the starch solution and other diets. But what I'm saying is that it I when I first picked up the book, I was pretty confused because I was listening to people online, and maybe they do switch from one program to another, but I hope that they're doing it safely. I think it's possible to do that, um, but if you're just eating plain old regular food with a lot of grease and loaded with sugar and fat, I don't think. What's the point? You know what I mean? Because in the long run, even if you lose weight, which I'm pretty sure happens, you will probably develop, if you have a predisposition to a certain health condition, you would probably get sick eventually down the road, depending on what it is. Whether it would be serious or fatal or whatever. I think that sure you can twist your diet around. You don't have to follow it to a T, but um, listen to the things that the doctors say about eliminating sugar and fat for this particular diet, because with all that carbohydrates and starch, all those carbohydrates, they will just turn into glucose if you add sugar and fat, depending on how much it is. Now I know I am missing my 2 teaspoons of fat. I still haven't done it since January. And yeah, I feel a little bit of a difference on my skin and I think in my eyes. Um, but guys, I know that I do need some fat for my skin, and I don't know what to do now, because now that I know the dangers of carbohydrates mixed in with fat, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do, because even if I get off it, just so I can have some fat, I would have to wait a while to get all that potatoes out of my system. You know what I mean? And not have it turn into sugary glucose. I don't want that. Um, yeah, I didn't realize that before. Now that I've studied up on this, I'm pretty sure that things are going to go a lot more smoothly for me, because always wondering what is the best way to eat a certain food. Now I know. Now I'm much more clear-headed about it, and I know what I'm doing now. And so I just hope that everybody out there understands what I'm saying. If you're following, especially if you're following the starch solution, you have to be careful. I didn't realize that before. Now I do. And all the people online who are saying, well, I do this for 1 week and then for another few days and then I mix. Don't do that. Don't do that. I mean, you can eat normal, but still, sugar and fat. Guys, think about it. What it's going to do to your health with the potatoes and the rice and the bread. Think about it. You have to know how to proceed with it. And so basically, this is all because of the starch solution. All the studies that I've been doing, all the research I've been uploading for you guys to listen to is for the starch solution. Not necessarily the fruitarian diet or the Atkins diet, but you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to figure foods out. And I think I'm coming a lot closer to that. So I'm glad that I did this. You know what I'm saying? And so, guys, to catch you up on my novel reading, the last couple of days I've been taking a little bit of a break from reading because of my eyes. They seem to be pretty much back to normal, but I sense a strain. I think there was a lot of pollution in the air. I'm extremely sensitive to sunlight and pollution. And nobody listens to me, but it's very true. I know that I have some sort of condition that drove me crazy when I was in my 20s and 30s. I couldn't handle it. It was DDT and lots of pollution in the air. You know, before it rains, how all that humidity develops and gathers all the dirt in the air. Well, it goes right to my eyeballs. And so it's normally this eye that's always been a little more sensitive than that eye. I don't know why, but it seems okay. I don't know what it is. I think it's dry air and maybe the central heating, not mine because I always have it off. But anyway, I wanted to catch you up just a little bit on the novel. And Lucas Burke, the father of the baby who was washed up ashore dead, um, was home when the police came with a search warrant, I believe with a search warrant, and he took off storming. He stormed off. He told them to go to hell, and I don't know how it was that they were in there. I assume they had a search warrant, and so they were looking for his computer, his laptop, and they didn't find it. But they did find security footage that went back to the last morning that Tara Burke left with her baby. And she did have a suitcase with her. She had a little suitcase with her. And so what happened was, guys, they found a body of a woman in the park, and it looked so much like Tara, but they couldn't really ID her for some reason. The face was just not the same, and so that's why they went right away to the home, and Lucas got mad. He took off, and they searched the house. They didn't find too much, but they did find the security footage of Tara Burke and the baby leaving around 8 something in the morning. And so it was planned. Tara had planned to leave her husband. So I think, you know what I think, guys? Lucas didn't tell them in so many words because he was ashamed. And I don't know why people do this. Women do it too. So he tried to say that, okay, he cut up her credit card. But was it because she was spending so much money, or was it because she had a boyfriend? You know what I'm saying? So, and the whole truth hasn't come out yet, but I really do honestly doubt that Lucas Book did anything to either his wife or his daughter. I don't think he's the one. And so that other woman is called Wendy something, Wendy Sparks or something. Anyway, she was about Tara's age, and she also had a suitcase with her. And so that made it very interesting. She was found in a park in a shallow grave. And so, but it wasn't Tara. They were almost convinced it was, but it wasn't. And so Tara is still missing. It's interesting. I like it. And so, guys, that is about it for content today. I hope that you enjoyed our talk about fruits and their benefits and their ingredients. Um, it's I'm still totally undecided about the fruitarian controversy, but I know that from having eaten fruits on a daily basis before. I mean, when I get off the lemonade cleanse, that's what I do. It's not satisfying, it's refreshing. But I mean, I can get by on many days with just fruit, but normally I'm more hungry than that. There are days when I just feel like I can't eat anything and I don't feel like eating. But this isn't one of them. So, I remember when I was abroad in my condo abroad, I would survive on fruit all day long. My mother would scream at me. Yeah, my mom, every time I talk about food and my mother, it's my mother screaming at me. And yet, if I gained an inch, she would be on my case. She wanted me to know, she wanted me to notice because, it crept up on her. And I think it destroyed her peace of mind. Although to me, I liked her no matter what she looked like. I still think she looked okay with weight, a little bit of weight, and then she got really thin. But I remember my mother as a very, very thin and slender woman throughout all my childhood until I got into my mid teens, and then she started to put on weight too. So my mother was always very cautious about food and what to eat, what to not eat, and yet she couldn't handle not knowing what was wrong with her stomach. You know what I'm saying? And so, but what I meant to say was she was always reminding me, you're going to get big, you're going to get skinny, you're going to do this, your stomach's going to hurt. She was always worried about my food and my stomach. You know what I'm saying? So it's not that I could ever eat exactly what I wanted because she was always on my case. You're not eating. Or what are you eating that for? Don't eat that. Eat meat. If I could retell all the fights that we had about food, um, about cooking, how it should be cooked, where we should put it in the fridge. Guys, I'm telling you, it's like after my father passed away, this whole world of food opened up to us. Things that we could never fight about before in front of my father, we fought about then. But yeah, we didn't see eye to eye on food. I love the cooking, of course, but uh, you know, she had one idea about what food should be, and I had another. And that's the way it stayed. I eat food to survive. Only when I'm really, really depressed or down about something, which is rare, which is rare. Um, I gorge. I'll buy chips or ice cream. This is, guys, once a year. I don't do that on a weekly or monthly basis anymore. I used to buy chips. I used to, um, before my mother passed away too. But not anymore. I just don't feel right eating them. I may buy a little bag once in a while, and that's about it. But I don't know. I think if I could get rid of all my bad food habits, I would be okay for life. But that's not easy to do. Well, I think we've come to the end of the vlog, and I have to say that I kind of enjoyed today. I like the recipe that I did too, and I hope it turns out. I'll have to let you know tomorrow how it turned out. Yes, I intend to have a piece, even though I already had my supper for tonight. It's actually for tomorrow. But I really hope that you enjoyed some of the content at least, and that I thank you very much for listening and watching. And of course, you know what to do with those buttons. Smash them. This is actually pretty good.